Hi there, my name is Madison. I am a 25-year-old stay-at-home mom to an 18-month-old with one on the way due in September. And we have been living as a single income family for 18 months now. And while there are some easy things that we have sacrificed in order to make this lifestyle work, there are certainly some that are harder than others. And today in this video, I'm going to go over 5 of the main sacrifices that my family of 3 currently makes in order to live on one income. So for some context, my husband is a registered nurse and I was a teacher prior to having our first son. We are currently living in Newcastle, Australia, and we own our own home here, but we are planning on moving to the country in about 7 weeks, and there are a number of factors for that, which I'm sure I will get into in a whole other video, but we are selling our house and moving. This will definitely be a huge cost of living relief for us and will make some of these single income sacrifices a little bit easier. But without further ado, let's get into 5 of the main things that we have been doing in these past 18 months. The first thing we do gives us huge margin in our budget, and that is we only have the one car. So that means we only have one car seat for our child. We only pay registration, insurance, servicing, all of the maintenance of having a car on the one primary vehicle. And there are a number of ways that we make this work. My husband commutes on his bike to work 99% of the time. So he is a shift worker, and this obviously does play into it. So if he is on a night shift, he will be taking the car, but that means I have the car for the rest of the day. If it is raining, he will also take his car, but I'm usually wanting to stay at home anyway in that scenario, which means it's a bit easier for me anyway. A side effect of this is we have to be really intentional about planning our lifestyle and planning our days to work around his schedule. Sometimes I am dropping him off to work and picking him up if it is required that I have the car, and it does seem like a small thing, but it really does change your lifestyle. We have only had one car since maybe about a year before our son was born, maybe a bit under a year. So it's something we've definitely gotten used to, and it was a decision that we made not out of a place of crisis or pressure, but something we just thought that would actually work for us anyway. And in our scenario, it is not that hard to make it work. With planning our move, we're just ensuring that we are within a 5-kilometer radius of the hospital. And in future, we would look into getting a commuter e-bike type thing if we were a bit further away. When we do inevitably repurchase a home, we might not be as close to the hospital. So those are all factors that we will consider in the future, but it's been working for us for 2.5 years so far, and we don't even think about it anymore. The second thing that we sacrifice is convenience foods. I'm talking supermarket bread, wraps, buns, prepackaged snacks, muesli bars, all of those things that make life a lot easier, but are inevitably quite costly because of the impact that they have on the consumer's daily life. Another thing is we are really conscious about what we eat. And while being on a tight budget, there are some things that we can't control, but we can definitely control the ingredients in a lot of those staple foods. So I am often making our pizza dough, our sandwich bread, all of those things from scratch. I was doing sourdough for a while, but that is really hard to do when you're in your first trimester. So in my first trimester, this was something that we compromised on a little bit. We made some more room in the budget to be able to eat out a bit more and to have a bit more of a buffer in terms of our weekly grocery shop bill. But now that I'm feeling a lot better in my second trimester, I'm just over 18 weeks now, we are back into our routine of making a lot of those things from scratch. And once you're doing it frequently, it actually doesn't feel like it takes up a lot of time. You get into a really good rhythm and routine with it. And obviously I am at home. That is something that we sacrifice in order for me to have the time to do those things. Number 3 might not seem like a big deal to a lot of older people who might watch this video, but to a lot of younger people and the current culture of the people around us, this is a huge one. So our family is currently not planning and not able to financially afford to do any overseas travel. So this isn't something that is a never for our family. It's just a not right now. It would also be probably quite stressful to be traveling with a 2-year-old and a newborn, and we do want to keep growing our family. So at this point, we are not planning any overseas trips. We have done quite a bit of travel together and individually. I'm not from Australia, so I grew up in the Bahamas, and my husband and I have gone back and visited my family there. My husband's also spent some time overseas prior to meeting me, so I don't feel like this is something we're missing out on. We also really enjoy going camping and doing little weekends away and having lots of little things in our calendar to look forward to. The fourth thing is we do not use any sort of childcare. We also don't have much family support, and we won't have any family close by when we do move. So we are really used to bringing our son along with us, and that's something we will continue to do as we add to our family as well. Our son has never gone to daycare. He has never had a babysitter. He's never really been away from either of us. If I've had an appointment or something I've needed to go to that he hasn't been able to come to, we've just scheduled it for a day that my husband is off, which does also work well because my husband can have a bit more flexibility in his schedule than some other people whose partners do work 9 to 5. So this saves us quite a lot of money. I haven't looked into the childcare subsidy to see what we would be eligible for. I'm sure we would be able to get it, but it's just not something that we're interested in. We have set up our entire life to make sure that we can have that really foundational time with our son. It's just something we prioritize as a family, and we really enjoy being around him. We are trying our best to raise a person that we want to be around, that fits in with the culture of our family, and we want him to be able to go out in public and handle himself and learn how to interact with other people. So he does come to date night with us, and we go out to dinner, and we do sometimes make decisions of where we're going to go with him in mind, but sometimes we just bring him along and try our best, and it is definitely a learning experience both for him and for us, which we find really valuable. The final thing that I'm going to talk about today, I'm sure I could have so many more of these things, and when I was writing down a list, I was realizing there are quite a lot of things that we have just naturally stopped doing. But one thing I have noticed for myself is I have really cut down on, I guess, the maintenance type things that I used to do. I've never been someone who really got my nails done or eyelashes or anything like that, but I only get my hair cut maybe once or twice a year. I just get a trim. This is my natural hair. I've just straightened it, but it's this color naturally. I don't have anything added to it, and that works really well. It ends up being quite a lot cheaper for us. And I also get my eyebrows done maybe once a year when I remember, or if I'm just at the shops and I have the time to go in and get them waxed or threaded. But we don't really have any regular appointments or things that we are doing. This definitely saves us a lot of money. My husband does prioritize his fitness, so he has a fitness passport membership. I'm currently not on that, but there aren't any other subscriptions or regular things that we are paying for that would be taking up room in the budget. This one is kind of maybe a bit of a cheat one, because I don't really feel like I'm missing out on any of those things. I wasn't a huge fan of doing a lot of that anyway. It wasn't something I was very inclined to, but I definitely got my nails done maybe once or twice a year, and I had gotten my eyelashes done on occasions, for our wedding. But those are just things that I don't really do now. I don't really think about them, and I don't really feel like I'm missing out, which is the beautiful thing about all of this is, while these are sacrifices and they might seem quite radical to a lot of people depending on their lifestyle, for some other people like us, it doesn't really feel like a huge missing out. which is why it's so sustainable for our lifestyle and why we're able to make it work. Obviously, there are a lot of other costs and considerations we make living on a single income, such as super investing for both us and for our kids, and just general what our financial future is going to look like as a family. But that is a lot to get into in one video, and I'm sure I'll talk about it in the future. So today I just wanted to go over some of the practical steps that we take to make living on a single income manageable. So thank you for watching. I really love talking about all of the financial side of homemaking and what goes on behind the scenes. So if you like this kind of video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more content in the future. I hope you are all having a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.